Hello team, welcome back to the channel. In this part, this is the second part of the Docker itself. In the first part, we have seen the basic architecture of the Docker, how the Docker works, and how the different areas of the Docker, the basic commands of the Docker. All those things are covered in the first part. So if you haven't watched it already, just I'll highly recommend to just go and watch the first part of the Docker. After that, you can easily understand the second part of it because this part is much complex than the first part itself. So make sure make sure you watch the first part, and after that the you can watch the second part also. So please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. So in today's lecture, we are looking at various commands of the Docker, such as the things we are covering in this video, such as the a little advanced commands, how we can create images from the running container also, um, uh, how we can create, how we can basically start and stop the container, how the Docker file works. We can explore the overall concept, how we can create a custom Docker file throughout the VS Code. There is some tips and tricks that I will share in the later part of this video. Then how you can create a volumes, how you can attach the volumes to the data, a particular um, Docker container itself, because the Docker container isn't store any. There is no storage for the persistent data to the Docker. Docker is stateless because of it, which not able to store any kind of a data. Once you power off the Docker container, the Docker container will automatically get shut. Once you power off the Docker container, the data in the Docker container also get erased. So if you need to preserve some data, or if you need to some set up some save some log files and all those things, you can use for many purposes also. But if you need to save some block files and also something configuration files or any apertures or any server you want to set up on the container itself, you need a persistent storage. Because of it, we can look into volumes, how the Docker volume work. So we can create a Docker volume, how the Docker inspect command work, how we can remove the container, how we can how we can attach a that Docker volume to container, how we can attach a single volume to multiple containers. So those many things we can look into this, and yeah, look into this part of this video. So make sure you watch till the end, and if you haven't subscribed already, just make sure you can subscribe. So let me quickly create one EC2 instance. Okay, our container is working. Just go and connect to the container, and I'm logging as a root. Connect for now and connect. Once I connect to that, I will just quickly install the Docker packages, necessary packages. I'll start the service of the Docker and we can do the practicals. Okay, our service is running. How I can get that my service is running or not? Throughout the Docker, I can get the status of the Docker daemon itself, which is running currently. So let's check the first command which we looking. So first command is a Docker run. We have seen in the last part also what the Docker container run do. Hyphen I means in interactive mode, and hyphen T for the terminal which we are connecting. So make sure that you know the know those flags, what the flags are actually doing on the command itself. So hyphen D is you use for in a detach mode. Otherwise, it will printing the same output on the screen itself. And once you cut that terminal, the Docker container also get exited. So because of which you need to run in a detach mode. So it will run in the background itself. It work as a daemon. So hyphen P. We are using hyphen P for the port, which like the host port which we are providing in the first part, and the second part, the container port which we are providing. So if you haven't provided the container port of it, the Docker container get automatically assign one port to that Docker container itself. So let me show it to you. I'm fetching the Alpine, which is very lightweight image, Alpine, and bin bash. I'm connecting to the bin bash because I am connecting to the interactive and the terminal also. So I'm providing which shell I need to connect. So once we click on enter, it will pull the image and it will automatically connect the port, our port 80 to the okay, bin bash is not there. We can try with the bin sh also. Yeah, the Docker container is not, Docker container is running. So yeah, the Docker container is running. Let's check the Docker PS. Look, it has automatically provide a number for the host port to the container itself. The container port remains the same. It will once we reach to this particular port 327769, it will forward the request to the port 80 on the container itself. You can check the particular container. We can check the expose ports from the container through the Docker port command, uh, Docker ports and the container ID. Once we paste it, we can, okay, ports, not the port command, not the port, sorry. Yeah, the Docker port command. Throughout the Docker port command, we can look the 80, port 80 to particular, it is forwarding the request to the 32769 and the port 80 from anywhere to, this is IPv4 address and this is the IPv6 address, which is 128 bit. So if you um, like stay connected with this channel, like we can do many more things, such as we can do the projects in upcoming days, or we can do the like live CI/CD pipelines. We can do the monitoring also. We can host our host multiple applications and all those things. So make sure you connected with this channel. So for the running a Docker command, Docker container, so that is a basic command which we have looked, and the Docker container is still running. So if you need to remove the Docker container, what command you use? Docker rm. Uh, we can provide the Docker container name and the paste. Once we paste that, okay, it is showing. You need to stop before the remove command. So you can do the kill also, kill, or you can do the stop. So I will kill and directly remove the Docker container from here. So how we can the second part of this video, how we can create a container, how we can create a Docker image from the existing running container. So what does it mean? We have a one image. We have a we have a one Docker image. That is that Docker container which is already running on the machine itself. Such as we have run our Alpine container on the Docker daemon itself. So we have that container, and we need to create an image from that container itself. So how you can do that? That is possible via Docker commit command. So let's quickly run one Docker container. Docker run -it d. We don't need to expose any port. Alpine, uh, Alpine, Alpine, and bin sh. Bin sh is also one a shell command. It's not a shell command, it is a shell to execute commands. I'm sorry about that. Once we run this container, we can get the details about the container itself on the Docker PS. Once we get that, let's do one. Let's commit this. So how we can do that? First, we can see the Docker PS. Once we commit it, it will once we commit it, it will create an image to particular this image only. So how we can do that? How we can create a doc custom? How we can create images from the running container? Let's firstly look at the Docker container. It is running. Yeah, it is running over here. We need to use Docker commit command. So Docker commit -m. We need to provide a Docker commit name. You need to provide a commit name. We can provide how basic commit name. Alpine image basic. Once we've done that, we can provide our container ID. So this is our container ID. Once we paste over here, it will create one image with this container itself. So once we click on enter, the Docker container Docker image was already created. So let me show it to you. Docker images. Look, it has created a image from the container itself. So this is how you can create how this is how you can create a Docker image from the running Docker container. But this is not recommended at all by the like there is a such alternatives you can create as a like you can use you can use a template, you can create a Docker file for it, you can do many more things that we will cover in this in the later part of this video only. And you can create the Docker images much efficiently, and you can configure the Docker image as you want as part of the Docker container itself, Docker file itself, sorry. So there you go. You have a two images. You have a created images from the running container itself. So why we have created, why, what is the basically purpose of it? So basically, if your application running on this container itself, you have configured throughout the Docker file and all those things, but you need to create an image for it, and you don't have a image, but you have a running container of it. But once you basically in the container itself, you have configured all those things, but you need to scale it right now. And for the scaling purpose, you can create an image, and you can push this image to the Docker Hub, and you can run as many container you want. So how you can do that? Docker run -it and paste. Once you paste that, we can create the same container. So there you go. We have a container that is already we have created container, and we have logged it on it. So yes. So let's look how we can remove the images and the how we can remove the Docker how we can remove the overall Docker images and the Docker running containers. So let's look Docker rn. We can use the dollar sign to remove all the running images in one go. Hyphen F for the forcefully, hyphen Q for the all. And once we run that, it will hopefully remove all those images. Docker RMI, uh, Docker images. Once we click enter, it will remove. Okay, the hyphen F is not getting detected, not getting like identified by the Docker daemon itself. So once we've done that, it will remove the Docker images itself. So we don't have any Docker images right now on the machine itself. So we have running one Alpine container, and the one which is the running. We have created one image. We have two Docker container which is running to using that image only. So make sure you can remove the Docker image itself, running container itself. Docker um, Docker rm dollar. This is how we can directly kill the running containers from the all the running containers which I'm using the Docker kill hyphen a. Hyphen a means all the containers which are listed on the running code, and the overall without the status filtering basically. And once we click enter, it will remove. It is not get detected. Mm. Oh, we need to provide a PS here. PS. Yeah, it has removed. So Docker images. Docker PS. We have removed the container. Let's try to remove the images also now. Docker images. Dollar sign must be force. We need to provide a hyphen F over here. Hyphen F. It will remove Docker images. Yes, we have removed all the images. Third part of this chapter, which is how we can create a Docker file itself. running to create a custom image of the Docker itself. So let me open a VS Code, and in the VS Code itself, we have a one extension for the Docker itself. So let me show it to you on the extension tab. The extension name is a Docker, and you can just go on it and just you need to click on the install button. There is a one install button you will see. Once you install that, just create one Docker file. The Docker D must be capital. So once you create a file, you can what you can do. You can use the reference. First one, the ID is also help you to how you can create a how you can use the tags to create a Docker file, and also the Docker reference is useful to create a Docker file reference. Once you open that, there you go. You have all the commands that you need to use in the Docker file itself to run your image and all those things. You need to configure it. So once you've done that, just let's create one Docker file for now. We can use the base image for the base image which we are using from is used to select the base image. I get it from here to create a new building stage in the base image. So to create a build stage from a base image. So one to which I am using as a latest tag. By default, it is taking the latest. I'm exposing one port. Uh, by the way, like the expo the command which it is already mentioned on the Docker reference, which is reference page itself. So the Docker port with the application required. So which we are exposing over here. So the 80 port which we need to expose. Uh, the run basically used to run the command inside a Docker container itself. So what command we need to run? First, let me show it to you how the run command works. Uh, yeah, this one. So the run instruction command, you'll create a layer of an image and added the like you can run the command inside the Docker container itself. So run apt hyphen apt hyphen get update. The second command apt hyphen get install Apache 2 and apt hyphen get install apt hyphen get install. Uh, we don't need to install anything. Just we need to start the service. By that, we can do the etc. We go on etc Apache Apache 2. We can go on init init.d Apache 2 start. Once we do that, the Apache service will start, and we have already exposed the port. So as we expose the port on the AT itself, we can do the following. So we need to add we need to add more things in in ongoing process. So we can use the volume as a data. We can provide the folder name which we need. Uh, we can once we provide the volume, you can also provide the maintainer. Maintainer is basically who is maintaining. We can provide a metadata. We can provide the label also. The key value pair basically for the Docker file itself to identify quicker. So which department which is using, we can provide the key pair things in the Docker file itself. So we can provide a test Docker Docker file Docker file. Once we save that, we have added the label also. You can once you if you need if you have a something script also, you can use the entry point itself. Entry point is what basically do what basically you can do. You can just do if you have a particular runtime in the base image itself, you have installed the runtime. You can just do You can just run the command whichever you need, such as the entry point which is need to run the Java application, such as let me show it to Java, uh, not the Java, yeah, Java, and just wait, yeah, Java entry point and the CMD, which is executable, the test dot class, something like that. So our entry point is the Java. We are running this command throughout the Java, and the entry point, the file which we need to run, which is the class. So we can use something like that to run particular command. For the environment, you need to specify something environment to the Docker file. You can do by the env tag. So do by the env tag. So we need to add a work dir, whichever the work directory it is working on. It will work the work dir, the slash. I can provide the slash directly, so it will work in the slash directory. So if you need to copy and paste all the things, you can do just you can use the copy to source to destination. You can use the source to etc. You can you can copy the source to particular destination. You can once you copy from the your base location to particular location inside the Docker container itself. So throughout the copy command, you can do that. So let's we have created a Docker file itself. So now let's check how we can run this run this Docker file to create a Docker image. So let's go over here. Let's create a Docker file. Um, Docker file. I have pasted this. Once I paste this one, and just save it. On the Docker volume part, you can get the overall detail about the volume, how you can create the volume and all the stuff. But because in currently might it get error because the data volume is the volume which the name as a data which never not existed right now. So let's try to run this Docker like particular Docker file. So we have a Docker file, Docker build command which is used to create an image from the Docker file, Docker build. The dot means the Docker build file. Docker file is on the same directory. F1T for the tag. Uh, on the Docker container Docker hub itself, we have seen uh, on the file itself. I have used the Ubuntu as a tag as a latest. So you can provide any you can use the any version of Ubuntu you want in the tag section. You can provide the version name and the base image you need. So I can just do the same over here. This is my uh, al alpine image, and the tag which I'm providing is the latest. You can provide any tag such as V1, V2. You can provide any tag from it. So once you click on enter, hopefully it will do all those things. Look, it is pulling the image. It is downloading the necessary requirements. The update command takes argument. So the command return code 0. Uh, okay, the Apache command which is not running. Apache command which not run properly. Uh, apt get update the repository. This command is not able to work. So let's check on the Docker file, and we can just apt just remove for it now, and just take this to upper level. Yeah. So now we can check our Docker build is running or not. Unsupported command. Okay, unsupported file. So the path which I provided might be not exactly the I have provided. Might there is some mistake in the uh, what we can say spelling itself. So just just do what we can do. Apt-get install Apache 2 APACHE 2. Once we install, we can check the what is the file name exactly it is getting. So those many errors you are getting in the like when you're when you're basically working. So make sure you can solve as many errors as you want as you get to get the like you'll get a overall idea about it how you can solve them in the real environment also. So Docker images. There is no images which is created right now. Um, I can forward. Let's close this Docker Vim Docker file etc init Apache to start. Okay, I have provided the right command. Just I need to verify it on the verify it over here. So how we can provide the specific command? We can get the details from here. We can provide the shell command. So let's look and just run from here. So you can what you can do just click go and create one run command over here. Keep it as separate and once you've done that, it should work now. So yeah, as per as per our image, it need it to need to be working. So vim docker file, just remove this all those things and paste docker build dot and the tag which we need. So test image colon v1. Okay, it is getting error. Bin hyphen c bin bash get update install Apache 2. Okay, it is taking as a one command. So might be there is one issue. So let's let's go over here and click enter. Now let's go on the Docker bin Docker file. Okay, getting error now. The line 12. Okay, so the Docker build the deprecated feature build as build components. Sorting concept. Okay, the Docker image is already it is created a Docker image. So no, it is not created. Let's do some changes in the Docker file and I'll be right back. Just wait. We need to provide it from the basic itself. So on the each and every command we need to use the run. So run we can do kind of this. So all the commands which are running, which is over here. So let's keep it as it and yeah. So let's save this. Go on the Docker file and just do one thing and paste it over here. Now it should work. Yeah, it is working. It is working as fine. So we need to provide we have provided a separate run argument separate run tag to run each and every command. So that's how we have did. So it is not able to start the Apache service, returning the error code, not an issue. Docker PS, I'm sorry, Docker images. It has created a image which is it hasn't provided any name for it. Why like that? Hyphen T in test image. Now we can check. Okay, the command is which we are done. It is not get it get completed. So might that's why. Like what we can do, we can remove this command and just do systemctl, which is not working exactly as we expecting, which is not able to run like that. So we need to use the shell command for it. Shell executable, executable, um, the shell command. How we can run the shell command? The PowerShell, not the PowerShell. We are using the executable and the parameters. Okay, not an issue. We can do uh, etc. What we can do? Just copy paste the whole thing and just paste it on the shell. Okay, done. Once we done that, just remove and then update the overall thing in Docker file. Okay, got it. Gotcha. What was the issue we are getting? Gotcha. Get we haven't provided the hyphen y argument because of which it is asking for the yes or no, and we haven't provided any sorry, we haven't provided any argument for it. So let's go and paste. Now it should work. Yeah, it is working as expected. Uh, Fingers crossed. Okay, it has created one Docker container, Docker image, which have those many dependencies which we have installed. It has created attachment volume to it, and throughout that, it has created one Apache server, and we can do the copy and all those things from the Docker file itself to do the things. So potentially the server name. Okay, the Docker PA, Docker images, we can look Docker images. Yeah, it is created the image which we need. The tag it is using build v1 and the repository, the image name which is using the build. It is 263 MB. Still, it is less. We have configured all those things, and you can use the Docker this Docker image to run containers now. So this is how we have created the Docker image from the Docker container itself. So so it is quite it is highly recommended to use the Docker build to build an image or build an Docker images rather than the Docker like the Docker commit command which we have seen previously. So let's look how we can create mount the volumes to it to the Docker container itself. So let's create a volumes. There is a for command which we can use. First one, the Docker uh, volume ls volume. I have mistakenly done the spelling mistake again. Sorry, volume ls. There is no volumes. Docker volume create hyphen name, which is the test. The Docker volume test is created. We can remove the Docker volume by the Docker rm command and the test thing, and you can attach the Docker container to the Docker. You can attach the container to the Docker image, which we which I'll show you how you can do that. There is no Docker containers running Docker images. We can run this image, image ID I can copy, Docker run F1 ITD because I need to run in the background and paste. Once you paste that, I can provide a hyphen V also. V is for the V is for the volume which I need. The volume which I have created, which is I have forgotten. Uh, just wait. Docker volumes, volume ls, not the volumes. And what we can do, Docker run hyphen itd hyphen port b, which is port 80 and the port 80, which need by the Docker container to host application host to present the default Apache page, which we have configured in the Docker file. And what we can do over here, hyphen v, we can provide the name for the we can provide the name of the volume itself, test index.html. We can provide any file we want, and once we've done that, we can do echo over here. We can what we can do. Uh, we can just provide a volume name for it to here. Okay, just wait. Okay, my internet got disconnected. Sorry about that. Just I need to check the Docker container, Docker image, which we look it is running or not. Okay, now it is not running any container. Docker images. We can run quickly. We can run one Docker container, and we can create look how we can mount the particular volume which we have created as a name as a test to the Docker container. So to do the Docker run hyphen itd hyphen p for the port, which we already added on the Docker file itself, and hyphen v to volume. The volume name is test, and you can get the volume name over here. I'll show it to you. The volume name as a test we have provided, and the volume name as test. The name of the machine hyphen name, we can provide any name. Uh, okay, no, we have provided the test one. We can provide the image name, image which we are using, which is this one. Copy and the paste, and we can run the command. We can do the shell. We can provide a shell for it in sh. Once we've done that, we can do the hyphen c for the uh, command. Okay, we're not doing it, and just we can click on run. Once we've done that, it is showing the port is already bind to the address only. So it is running container, not. Let's try to run again. Okay, the 80 port is running somewhere. So let's try to run the 8080. So once we do that, okay, the 88 is already running. Used by an container. Configure to reuse it. Okay. So there is one container which is running and using the test data. Uh, daemon conflict systemctl restart Docker. We have restarted the daemon, and now let's try. No, it's not running. The container which is over here, it is causing a problem. So I can just remove that container. You can also do Docker inspect. Docker inspect. What is this? This is overall detail about the Docker container. Um, okay, so you can remove the Docker container by Docker rm. We can do the direct kill. Docker kill is not running. Container is not running, so we can just remove it. Okay, we have removed. Now the command which we need to provide, which is run, which will run. So this command is this one, and just we click enter. Docker ps We can do the 8080. We can use the port 8080. It is some working somewhere. Okay. Uh, shit. I'm providing the port for now. I'm unable to resume that. Okay, just wait. Let me check if there is a one issue with the port itself. Docker images. I can remove the overall all the running containers. Docker, kill, Docker, ps hyphen a hyphen f hyphen q. This kind of work as a brutally to remove all those running containers. It is not running. Okay. Just I will remove all those things. We have removed. So now we can able to run that. Okay, it is still getting conflict. Core bind is already used. SS FNTL grep. It it is used by Apache. FAT hyphen get remove Apache to by base machine itself. Once we done that, the code get released automatically. So once we check, it need to be run. Okay, it's not running right now. Okay, the container which is already running. You can do the RM and the kill thing. Kill first and the RM later on. Oh, okay, there is no more containers. Now we can check. Able to run or not. Okay, finally we able to run that thing. It is connected to the 8080 port to the test one, which have which have uh, uh, which have a volume attached to it. Let me check the volume. We can do we can use the command docker inspect to check. We can do the grep thing. Grep volume. Look, it is using as a volume to the particular data as a it is using a volume to data as a source type. So let's do the inspect fully and we can check over here. The volume which is using it is restarted on all the overall details about it. So we'll wait. Okay, just wait. And now we can try to get the public IP of this machine, and we can try to access that container itself. So let's go on this port IP. You need to use the HTTP, not the HTTPS. Okay, it it is not running because of the there are some issues. So we need to figure out what was the issue. Docker PS. It is running on the port 80 and it is accepting the traffic. It is running a minute ago. Uh, Not the HTTPS, it is a HTTP. Um, Security. Oh, which is already open. Docker ports, port I mean, to that particular test one. It is already open. So where the error is getting, we have provided the correct image name, right? We have provided the correct IP. You can so 80. Not able to reach somehow. I'll check about it and later on. So this is how you have created the image and you can allow. Okay, let's try to log into the Docker container. Let's check the services run or not inside the Docker container. Hyphen IT and the test one. Docker exec hyphen IT bin bash you need to provide bin sh inside sh etc um init init.d apache 2 start. Okay, it has started. Now we can check. There are some issues with the here also. It is not getting a qualified domain name, so that not reliably working as expected. So I will figure out on later part of it, but it is working as currently. So that's it for today only, and then we can remove this EC2 instance. We don't need right now, and done.